It is August 13th, 2015. For the Risse family, it is actually a normal day. After dinner, daughter Anneli goes outside again. The family dog needs a little walk. So Anneli Risse gets on her bike and sets off with Paula, but she just doesn't come back. The family wait for Anneli and joke that the 17-year-old is probably on a secret date. But then the phone rings, and it quickly becomes clear that Anneli is in grave danger. Anneli Marie Risse is described as a ray of sunshine. The teenager is cheerful and well-balanced, very popular, and gets on well at school. In her free time, Anneli plays the piano and guitar. She also works in her father's company because, like many teenagers her age, Anneli is about to get her driver's license. Of course, this costs money, which she wants to earn by working for her father. He works as a building contractor and engineer. Her mother works in property management, which ties in with this. The Risse family is therefore very wealthy. They live in the municipality of Klipphausen. Anneli has an older sister. On the evening of August 13th, 2015, the four of them are sitting down to dinner together. After that, Anneli sets off on a walk with Paula the dog. And shortly before 8 p.m., Uwe Risse, Anneli's father, receives a call on his cell phone. Anneli's name is on the display, so he answers it immediately. But it is not his daughter's voice that he hears at the other end of the line, but that of another man. In broken German, he tells Uwe Risse that he is holding his daughter and demanding a ransom of 1.2 million euros before letting Anneli go. Should the sum not be paid, Anneli would be taken to Poland. Screams from Anneli can be heard in the background. Uwe Risse immediately assures that he will raise the money. He calls to his wife. She should call the emergency number and inform the police. Uwe himself jumps into the car and drives the walkies route that Anneli usually walks with Paula. In fact, he soon finds the dog. She's alone and was leashed on a dirt road. Next to Paula lies Anneli's bicycle, which she was riding. Anneli's cell phone, which the kidnappers had called, had been switched off. Shortly before, Anneli had been surprised by her kidnapper right there. His name is Marcus B. When Anneli and Paula came by, Marcus probably jumped out of the bushes and pressed a cloth soaked in anesthetic ether over her face to stun her. Marcus B. purchased the ether completely legally from his regular pharmacy. He told the pharmacist that he wanted to use it to stun chickens. Because ether is so rarely sold, the pharmacist even checked again to see if a prescription was required for the purchase. It is sufficient to show identification and register. That is exactly what Marcus B. did, paying just under 9 euros for 250 milliliters of ether. And now he presses a cloth soaked in it into the face of 17-year-old Anneli. But the anesthetic doesn't work the way Marcus had planned. Anneli fights back fiercely. So fiercely that Marcus gets help from his accomplice, Norbert K. Actually, it was probably planned that Norbert would only drive the getaway car. But when Marcus can't overpower Anneli alone, Norbert comes to his aid. The two of them can't manage to maneuver Anneli into the boot, so the men put the 17-year-old on the back seat. Norbert drives the car, while Marcus tries to keep Anneli in check on the back seat. Because the sedative didn't work on Anneli, the teenager has seen the faces of her captors and also the car of Marcus B., in which the three are now traveling. And that means that Anneli could identify the two at any time after she is released. When Anneli's father finds her bike and the dog, he reacts instinctively. He provisionally cordoned off the scene so that he can show it to the police later. He takes the dog Paula with him and drives back home. Anneli's mother has meanwhile informed the police, and the officers are already there when Uwe pulls up with the dog. The case is immediately taken very seriously. The LKA takes over the investigation. At around 9 p.m., the kidnappers call again. They leave a voice message saying that they have now arrived in the Czech Republic with Anneli. The ransom will be ready for pickup the next day around noon, the caller says, and then hangs up. He speaks in broken German again. When investigators played the message back and again, they noticed something else: the influence of a Swabian dialect. It is likely that the caller is a German native speaker who is merely trying to imitate a foreign accent to lead Anneli's family and the police down the wrong path. Meanwhile, Uwe Risse is trying to organize the demanded sum of money from his bank. However, this is not so easy. Raising 1.2 million euros in cash within a few hours is a complicated undertaking for a bank. Neither Anneli's family nor the police can guess that Anneli is very close by at this time, because the kidnappers have not fled to the Czech Republic or Poland as they had announced. They are only 6 miles away from Anneli's parents' house in Lampersdorf. The mother-in-law of kidnapper Marcus B. has a farm there, and Anneli Marie Risse is now being held in a shed on this farm. Marcus B.'s mother-in-law has no idea about any of this because she left her farm only a few days earlier, together with Marcus's wife and his 2 sons. Due to the separation and the purchase of a new house, Marcus B. has accumulated debts of 570,000 euros. He always remained calm towards his then-wife and his mother-in-law. He would soon inherit something. His family owns a lucrative piece of property that he could sell. But none of this is true. Marcus B. is in deep financial trouble, just like his accomplice Norbert K. And that's exactly why the 2 men decide to kidnap Anneli Marie Risse. In fact, Uwe Risse manages to raise the sum of money during the night and the next morning. Various banks in the area banded together to raise the sum of 1.2 million euros. The Risse family is still deeply shocked, but now reasonably confident. They will be able to meet the kidnappers' demands, so everything will be fine. As agreed, the kidnappers contact Anneli's family again shortly before noon on August 14th. But instead of the clarity they had hoped for, the call from the blackmailers only caused great confusion. Because suddenly they said that the family should transfer the money to a Maltese or Malaysian account. Uwe asked how this could be done without a name or account number. The blackmailer then became aggressive on the phone, and that without being able to provide any specific information. He just said that it was all on Facebook. Uwe Risse should not be such a wimp. In the meantime, investigators have managed to secure DNA evidence at the scene of the kidnapping, and a match can be made because Marcus B. already has a criminal record. The police are able to tap Marcus B.'s phone calls. This is how they quickly get wind of his accomplice Norbert K. They also receive a valuable tip from the criminal police in Baden-Württemberg. A few days earlier, someone there had tried to blackmail 2 supermarket chains for exactly 1.2 million euros, the same amount that is now being demanded for Anneli. The culprit threatened to detonate ether bombs in the supermarkets in question. And ether also plays a role in the case of Anneli. On August 17, 2015, 4 days after the abduction of Anneli Marie Risse, the police move in. Marcus B. and Norbert K. are arrested. The 2 offer no resistance and lead the police to the shed where they have been keeping Anneli. Norbert K. confesses to having strangled Anneli as early as August 14th, out of fear that she might identify the 2 kidnappers after being released. The 2 are therefore not only responsible for the kidnapping, but also for Anneli's death. As it quickly becomes clear, Anneli is not a random victim. Marcus B. had actually tried to blackmail 2 supermarkets days before the kidnapping. When his plan failed, he used Facebook to find out more about Anneli and her father's company. Marcus apparently hoped that kidnapping the daughter of a wealthy entrepreneur would solve his financial problems. Ultimately, both men were convicted. Marcus B. received a life sentence because he was found to be particularly guilty. His accomplice Norbert K. received only 8.5 years because the court found it proven that Marcus B. was the mastermind behind the kidnapping. In addition, Norbert K. had made a partial confession. Marcus B. allegedly promised him 400,000 euros for his part in the kidnapping of Anneli. Greed then led Norbert K. to commit the crime. Incidentally, Marcus B.'s wife knew nothing about his criminal record. During the trial, the father of her children turned out to be a notorious liar. Marcus even lied to his own wife about where he worked. He is said to have cheated on her several times with other women, and his former wife had no idea about his criminal past. In retrospect, the entire marriage to Marcus B. turns out to have been a construct of lies. Marcus and his wife's young sons apparently suspected something, but Marcus is said to have threatened them. He would take away their toys or leave the family if they told their mother that he was seeing other women. Marcus B. is said to have even threatened his own sons with a knife. Marcus B. will not be leaving prison anytime soon. His accomplice Norbert K., on the other hand, is likely to be released soon. The parents of Anneli Risse have set up a foundation in honor of their murdered daughter, the Anneli Marie Foundation. Among other things, the foundation aims to support young people and help families process traumatic events. I'll link you to the foundation in the info box. And that's the end of today's video. What do you think of the case? Feel free to write me a comment. This also supports the channel because every interaction increases the likelihood that the video will be suggested to people who have not yet subscribed to the channel. Thanks a lot in advance. Otherwise, there is not much more to say. I wish you a good morning, noon, or evening, or depending on when you see the video, and hope to see you again in the next video. Until then, ciao guys.